In this video, I'm going to show how to lay out a pattern for a diamond belt ball. I'll give you two examples. This is the one I'm working on in the video. You see there's a belt of diamonds going around the middle. Same with this one. There's diamond shapes that's going around the middle of the ball as a belt. I am going to sew on a dryer ball. And you may have found these wool dryer balls produced by various manufacturers. The ones that I like to use are from a company called Clean Cult, CleanCult.com. They make all kinds of earth-friendly cleaning products, and these felted wool dryer balls among them. I do use these for singlet balls occasionally. Sometimes I just don't have enough scrap material to wind my own ball. Sometimes I don't have time. They're perfectly fine to use. Just have to remember that your needle doesn't go very far into them, but you will find that you can skim the surface, just underneath the surface of these balls, and it works just fine. So the first thing I do when I start almost any pattern is I draw a line around the ball. And I say draw, but of course I'm sketching out the lines with the yarn. So I'm going to take a little back stitch here. And pull tight just to anchor that. Now I'm going to just eyeball it and make sure that I can evenly cut this sphere in half. I think that's going to work pretty good. I'm going to stop, go back to the beginning. I'm going to stop about a quarter or a third of the way, at least that 3 or 4 times as I go around the ball. I'm going to anchor this line down so that nothing wanders. I don't want the lines to wander. I want to keep this pretty even if I can. Ah, good, I'm ending up where I started. Now, my balls that I make, I tend to make my next line perpendicular to this basic line, but I think I'm going to try and make 3 lines to divide into 6 even parts. And I don't know how to tell you how to do it. I just kind of eyeball it. Say I go around the ball with that line and then around again with another line, kind of like that. So that looks pretty even to me. So that's the direction I'm going to go. And again, I'm going to try to tack this line down in 3 or 4 spots. I think that's going to be okay. That looks pretty even. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. it's not quite perfect, is it? But, well, you know, okay. We're not about perfection here in this craft. Looks like I'm running out of yarn. Take one more stitch and see if I can complete the circle. Just barely. There we go. Okay. Reload my needle. Next, I'm going to, well, if this is a globe and these are longitudinal lines, I'm going to make an equator. So I got my North Pole and my South Pole, and I'm going to guess where the middle is, and I'm thinking right about there. A little back stitch. And maybe it's over a little bit. Maybe it's like right there. That's more like it. All right. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to draw two more lines. And these are going to be parallel to the equator. One above and one below. I'll just tack this down at every longitude. I don't really have enough yarn to go around one more time, so I'm gonna reload my needle. And now I'm going to go around with a parallel line. Okay. Now, all of these lines have got me to kind of a scaffold for building my actual lines that I'm going to sew on. And I'm going to change colors now because I want to emphasize the diamonds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make from this corner to this corner, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to skim the surface. It's a little tough, but okay. Oops. It's kind of got wound up. One more. Running out of yarn on this needle. But so I've made 6 of those lines, and I'm going to go back the other direction. Oops, ran out. But you see, I'm getting diamonds. I'm gonna change get some more yarn in my needle here. There, so you can see the orange lines guided me just to the point of making the diamond line. So this is the diamond belt pattern, and now we'll go on showing you how I sew on this pattern. Okay, now I have laid out the diamond belt pattern. I'm going to sew along it. So you have some options. You can just go up, down, along this zigzag line. Or you could just go all the way through and do the big zigzag this way. And you would do that if you intend to have the same color on both sides of the line, because when you're done with that line, you'll come back and you'll do this line. Now, maybe show you a little bit. So that's one way of doing it. If you only want to sew on one side of the line, I would recommend just zigzagging here. But if you want it on both sides of the line, maybe this is the way to go, and then come back and do this one. I'll show you this way, because yeah. Now, the only lines I'm paying attention to now at the moment are these greenish blue lines. I'm going to completely ignore the peach lines, especially inside the diamonds. Don't need to, I can just ignore them and sew right over them. I'm going to keep going on this line because I want to do this bright green color on both sides of the line. Because as you notice, for this diamond, my stitching's on the outside of the diamond. For this diamond, the stitching's on the inside of the diamond. And I'll come back and do the other side, and then I'll come back and do the other line, and by the time I'm done, I'll have both sides of the lines in all 6 triangles done. I think I can take one more stitch in here. It's a little tight, but I think it'll be okay. And then to turn the corner nice and neat, come up inside that last stitch. And go down the next line. Etc. I'll come back in a bit here. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do a big zigzag here. I want to talk about taking a corner. In the inside corner, I just joined two stitches, but in the outside corner, I'm gonna do it a little differently. My first concern is for this stitch. You see how it's curling back, but I really want to lay this tail forward so that this stitch lies flat. So I'm going to just take a little stitch away so that when I pull this tight, that stitch won't curl back. But I've also positioned myself, my needle here coming out here, to start down this line. And I'm gonna go inside this side of the stitch. So what I've done is I'm keeping this point from getting too rounded. And I'll continue. But I also want to show off. These are two they're thimbles. They're not actually thimbles because they're not going on your thumb, but I think they're called Japanese thimbles. And that is because as I stitch, I tend to push the needle forward with the heel of my hand here, and I get pokies. I get calluses and little irritations on my hand. This is a metal style. This is a leather style. They're both helpful to me because it's where it's right in the middle between these two fingers that I get the most that gets the most abuse as I sew. So I like them both. I like them in combination, but you might like a leather one or a metal one. I recommend them. They've been very helpful to me because I tend to push my needle with that part of my hand, and I really enjoy these thimbles. I'm pushing here. Okay, back in a bit. This is an example of a diamond belt pattern where I didn't stitch all the way across this line, and instead I stitched only to the intersection of the diamonds and back and forth in a zigzag pattern. And the reason I did that is because I figured that if I stitched both sides of the line, it would leave too small of a space inside the diamond, and I wanted something a little bit bigger. So I did this zigzag motion all the way around the ball, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a second row of red, again zigzagging, to thicken this line and still have more room inside of the field to fill in. So that's another way that you could do these lines. Again, instead of going fully along the line, to do a little zigzag and save the more space on the inside of the diamond. Okay. Now I've gone around the ball with a single zigzag. And now I'm going to do the other side of that line. Oh, I think I just realized something. I guess whenever you mention a company, you're supposed to say I'm not sponsored by them, or if you are sponsored, that you are sponsored, but I'm not sponsored, and I don't monetize these videos, folks, so I don't make any money on them at all. So I don't know if I have to say that or not, but Clean Cult does not sponsor me saying I like their dryer balls. There you go. Anyway, so now I'm going to do the other side of this line. And as we know, that means we're going to take our stitches on the same line, but between the stitches of the other side. And when we have the same color on both sides of the line, we get this kind of a bold looking line. You could use a different color, but when you use the same color, you get a kind of a bolder line like that. All right, back in a bit. Okay, I've almost finished the second side of the line here. Okay. So now I've done both sides of this line. Now I'm going to go and boost both sides of this line all the way around. So I'll move up to this corner here. Etc. I want to show what I do when I get up to this line. I could just go over that and keep stitching, but I think what I prefer to do is just dive underneath that finished line. There we go. And then let it be the dominant line. Okay, I'm almost done with this side of that line, that second line. Now I'm going to do the other side. So you see, by doing one side, here I'm on the outside of the diamond, and here I'm on the inside of the diamond. So go back and I'll continue that. Okay. Almost done with this process, and then we'll take a look. Got one more crossing over under. I'm going to go under there. And like I said, it looks like one side goes over the other. That's all right. That's not a bad look. You could, I find, think of a way to make it not look that way, but that is fine. That's just not, I'm not going to worry about it, I guess. If it bothers you, change it. All right, almost done here. See, I'm pushing. See in there? Pushing with the heel of my hand. And I'm going to dive underneath this stitch to finish up. Okay, let's take a look. We have 6 diamonds. This one looks a little rectangulish, but that's all right. So what I'll do is I'll go around on the inside of this diamond, these diamonds, and fill them in with something. I don't know what I'll fill them in with. But then you see what you've got is a star or a flower or something. You see you've got these shapes. You can ignore this line, and then you've got kind of a elongated diamond there. Now you could do both sides of these lines. That would be interesting. And then you'd have 6 elongated diamonds that you could finish up at the top, or you could just go along the outside here, zigzag, zigzag, all around the ball, maybe a couple rows of a color, another couple rows, and then fill in the rest. And if you do fill in everything with the same color and bring everything up this, you'll end up with a little circle as you start filling it in. You'll end up with a circle. You can fill that in with a dot maybe if you like. So I don't know, lots of possibilities, and I'll try to take a thumbnail picture and we'll see what I finally decide. So that's how you make this diamond belt around a ball. If you wanted to try, instead of 6 lines, you could try 8. My grandpa did one with 5. I think he freehand laid out these diamonds when he got 5. I don't know how he figured that out, but that would be cool too. So there we are, the diamond belt pattern. Have fun. And this is the completed ball. I decided to fill in the diamonds with blue, and then to make what would be the star, I suppose, kind of made it into a design with petals or drops. Maybe these are drops. The lines that extended up, I sewed on both sides of the line, and then I had diamond shaped fields here, and I rounded these edges, these corners, so that this point would be sharp and these would be rounded to get the teardrop shape. So that's what I chose to do with this particular diamond belt pattern.